There's one thing about Black American culture that I love is that it's literally a grand portrait of innovation. Everything from the family tree of music that connects jazz to blues to rock to gospel to R&B to hip hop, not to mention the never-ending evolution of self-expression and communication accompanied by fashion. Hello, invention, hello, and entrepreneurialism. And of course, the deep-seated spiritualization that influences all of the aforementioned. It is so beautiful. Within the history of the struggle, the beauty of its people's resilience created a legacy that helps the whole world move forward. Woo, that's some dopeness. Blackness in all its manifestations is the spirit of dopeness. So why you want to suffocate this dopeness, huh? Why you want to vilify me and victimize me and violate my humanity? Is it because my beautifully dark display of dopeness fights off all the fucked up parts about ultraviolet radiation for me, but not for you? Is it because every time you look at me, you remember how bad you wanted to get down on Soul Train? Or how much you wanted to rap a verse from your only black friend's throwaway bar set? Or maybe it's because I decided that my dopeness wasn't enough. Yeah, maybe it's because I decided that with my dopeness should come my freedom. And if I can't have that, nobody deserves my gifts, especially you. That's it. My agency suffocates you, and now you can't breathe. My pride, my self-determination, my unmitigated gall to walk through life like I'm a child of God, in spite of your constant protest against my self-love, is suffocating you. And now you can't breathe. All that good old apple pie and baseball air at the segregated state fair ain't so easy to breathe in anymore, is it? It ain't got contaminated with us showing up every year saying, see me, count me, respect me, and don't kill me. I matter. I matter to the world just as much as you do. Y'all know the words. And some of you say you agree. Some of you say, hey, we did where you coming from. And what your Papa Charlie and his brothers, sisters, children, and wives did to my brothers, sisters, children, and wives ain't all right with you. And that you don't even see color when you look at me. But why don't you? Your Uncle Charlie no good sees it and gives me hell for it. So why can't you see it and give me love? Why are your only two options to attack or ignore? See, my blackness and all its manifestations are not to be seen through, but embraced. And now they're calling us terrorists. All because we gave a name to this idea that we've been fighting for all this time. Oh, I know you heard the talk. Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. But tell me, what's so dangerous about the very spirit of a people declaring their humanity? I mean, apparently y'all can't see it, in spite of how much you benefit off of it. So we make our declarations, here, in the name of the God who made us. And oh yes, it's the same one you try to use to justify your bigotry, your thievery, your violence, your greed, your arrogance. There's no way it feels right in your soul. But you know what? Maybe that's why we are the spirit of dopeness. Everything that we do is a reflection of what feels right and just and good to the soul. That's the great connector. It's the soul, baby. It's what makes a brother and a sister a sister. It's the power of the goodness in the soul that allowed Queen Aretha to sing any song like the heavens had their glow on her every time she opened her mouth. It's the power of the goodness in the soul that made the Godfather shout out the notion I'm black and proud of it every time he slided and glided across every stage he ever graced. Good God. But you know something? As powerful as the goodness in the soul is, it's the power of the conflict in the soul that brings out our warriors, our heroes, our martyrs. It's the conflict in the soul that makes it hard for us to understand your lack of it. See, it's the power of the conflict in the soul that made a 25-year-old boxer with the world at his feet put his livelihood and welfare on the line because your Papa Charlie wanted him to go and murder and pillage people who never enslaved his ancestors, who never denied him a seat in a diner or something as trivial as a front seat on a public bus like y'all did. It was the power of the conflict in the soul that made the brother say, wait a minute, whose liberty am I fighting for? And since I don't have what I'm supposedly fighting for, how about y'all go? And I stay until y'all learn to treat me like a man. I mean, after all, you need men for manpower, right? It was the power of the conflict in the soul that made a 26-year-old Baptist minister with a new marriage and baby take on the responsibility of going to battle with this system old Charlie done created. Even when they bombed his house, threw him in jail, beat him, and even stabbed him, all because he wanted to show his people that the only way to have your back written is to have it bent voluntarily. See, it's the conflict in the soul that made the brother say, wait a minute, stop the press. This militarism, economic disparity, voter suppression, racism, and violence used to enforce it are not things I'm willing to tolerate within my space on this earth, not while I'm living. And you know what your Uncle Charlie said? He said, okay, I can fix that. At least he thought he could. He said, okay. And then he went to his toolbox of destruction like he always does whenever he tries to fix something or deal with something without really dealing with it. And he tried, and to this day, he still don't realize after all these years that we will not accept crumbs out of gratitude for being conditionally free. Every example of a fallen soldier who died fighting this beast that some of you claim to care about just as much as us has felt the wrath of your rage every time we refuse to accept taking crumbs out of gratitude for being conditionally free. Why don't you just admit it? That your master plan to turn this world who values us against us, just to justify your ruthless gluttony and to reaffirm your security in the state of this nation that you wish you discovered is not as effective as it used to be. And just admit that when you see baby Charlie and baby Susie May look around and say, I don't like this evil anymore. I don't want to trample on his or her spirit of dopeness because I don't need that to sustain wealth or to build self-esteem or to maintain exclusivity because I don't want it. I too want to see the world move forward. Maybe you should start to take on that same responsibility because the world needs this dopeness. It may not deserve it, but it desperately needs it.